So I'm pleased to meet you here in Athens. My name is Monica Paruta from Stamperia in Italy. And my friend Effie will translate in Greek my words.
Καλημέρα. Ερχόμαστε από τη Σταμπερία, από την Ιταλία. Η κυρία Μόνικα Παρούτα είναι η δασκάλα της Σταμπερίας. Θα παρουσιάσει ένα από τα έργα της, οτιδήποτε θα θέλετε, απορίες ή να ρωτήσετε ή οτιδήποτε να πείτε, μπορώ να σας κάνω τη μετάφραση. Εγώ ονομάζομαι Εφη, έρχομαι από Κύπρο.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for coming to see this very quick demonstration about new products. And I would like you to know that we are here with our stand, with our booth, Stamperia, all day long, starting from now till the last day of the exhibition, to make workshops about every technique you can see in our booth. So I invite you to come and have a look to what we suggest for the workshops as well.
Εδώ, πίσω σας ακριβώς, μπορείτε να βρείτε το περίπτερο της Σταμπερίας, μπορείτε να δείτε όλη τη νέα κολεξιόν, όπως και να σας προτείνουμε τις ιδέες μας για τα υλικά μας. Από σήμερα μέχρι και την Κυριακή, όλες τις ώρες μπορείτε να παρακολουθήσετε και να συμμετάσχετε στα εργαστήριά μας, που είναι ανοιχτά. Μπορείτε να διαλέξετε ό,τι θέλετε για να φτιάξετε, χωρίς να προκρατήσετε τη θέση σας. Ευχαρίστως, θα σας περιμένουμε.
So I think maybe you can translate only some very, I mean, the most important things, because it will take too much long, I think. So I will speed up. Otherwise, I will not be able to explain what I want.
Θα μεταφράσω μόνο τα κύρια, τις κύριες κινήσεις που θα κάνει η Μόνικα. Αν οτιδήποτε θέλετε, ρωτήστε ξανά.
So, this new technique is based on our new product, which is called Pasta Scultura. Maybe you know it. It's a paste to make 3D effects. Like something here, you can see the flowers under my table. And I found out a way to use this paste with my own technique. So I'm eager to show you how I use this paste in my personal technique. First of all, I will use also these new molds. These are very flat molds that you can use in many ways. For example, also spreading different pastes on it, like cream paste, glossy gel paste on the mold with a spatula. You let it dry, but 24 hours, or at least when it is completely dry. When it's dry, you can peel off these plastic shapes, and you can adapt to also round surfaces like this. This is glossy gel, this is cream paste, same technique.
Ναι. Λοιπόν, σε αυτόν τον καλούπι μπορείτε να χρησιμοποιήσετε όχι μόνο αυτή την πάστα. This is the three they can...
Yes, this is the glossy gel and cream paste. You can spread on these molds with the spatula.
Με αυτές τις δύο.
Then you can put on bottles, on everything, also on boxes. You put the same paste with the spatula. You make this adhere, and then you dry, and you can spray colors, put some patinas, whatever you want. Okay. Here you have other examples. It's the same on a plate, big plate. But on our booth you can find other things. But now I will show you the use of this with another technique on this wooden surface. So you take any wooden surface or any cardboard, whatever, canvas, whatever you want. And you take soft clay or any of these very soft pastas that dry at the air. We can take a piece of this, and I create a structure. Take glue. In this case, I'm using mixed media glue, the one I use for rice paper, with the brush. For example, I put a little bit here on top. Then I take this clay, I spread with my hands. Not necessary to spread perfectly, don't worry about that. But I spread like this, very thin quantity. Not necessary to put too much. And then I also try to spread the edges in order to make it something like incorporate into the wood, to embody it. Okay, like this. Then I take the molds. These special molds you can use in many different ways, also with like stamps, with acrylic colors. You can dab with a sponge acrylic color for scrapbooking, and you press like stamps. But in this case, I choose one of them. We have many shapes. For example, this one is very nice too. In this case, you can use from this side or this side. It's the same. You can have a structure anyway. If you have words, pay attention because they are contrary. So use in the right side. But in this case, it's only a sort of structure. I press with my hands like this, press well. And then, you see the effect you get. Then I take cream paste, the one that I told you you can put with a spatula. You let it dry and you peel off, but 24 hours drying. Now I use this with a spatula that I forgot, maybe, sorry. In the meantime, I take a brush, then we'll get a spatula. You take like this on the edges, and I clear up a little bit in the middle, like a background. Okay. Because now in the middle, thank you so much. I will put rice paper, but I let it dry first, so we can dry with the hair dryer. Yes. The cream paste. Cream paste, the one that you can put also on the molds, very soft, white paste. You can use with stencils, many ways. And with these molds, you put with a spatula. You fill completely, you let it dry, and you peel off. Okay. Now here I dry. Okay. And now I take one of the rice papers, the new drawings. These are my new drawings of the season. I made 4 of them. There is a dancer, there is a fairy, and 2 faces. This is one of the 2. So it's in rice paper A4 size. I open it and it's on rice paper napkin. So it's very, very thin. I cut it out quite quickly, but roughly as well. I don't know if you have to translate something, but I think it's clear, everything. Hope so. Because you see also my hands. So I cut it out roughly like this. And then I will glue it in the middle of my wooden heart. Like this. Yeah, here. I will use the mixed media glue. Only on top of the paper, because it's very thin. It's rice paper napkin. So it adapts also on this structure. And when I glue, I prefer to glue on the wall surface as well. So also here, because then I will put some colors and the surface will be more homogeneous. You can really spread very hard, no problem, because the paper is very strong. So press very, very well with the brush. Now I dry again, and then I cut the exceeding. Here as well. Okay. I dry it. What I'm going to do here, you can do on every surface. So canvas, every surface. Our products can go on every surface, also the glue. Glue is also a varnish, protection as well. And also a hardener. If you use on fabrics, it gets something hard. You can use also on rice paper and scrapbooking paper. Now I take the famous pasta scultura I mentioned before in my personal technique, as I told you. So I take plastic, any plastic, like this. I take a little bit of pasta scultura on my plastic here, and a little bit of this soft clay that I found out it's made with the same product. It's something like fibers of paper. So they are very compatible. No problems of interactions, but you can mix them easily. So more or less the same quantity. So I take a part of this and a part of this. And I mix. I cannot tell you exactly how much. It's more or less the same, but I cannot tell you exactly how much it is. You should feel it when you use it, that it is quite consistent. Then, with a spatula like this one, you start. I heard that they mentioned a rose, so we can make a rose. Any flowers and anything you can use. Not only flowers, because sometimes people ask why always flowers, because we like flowers. But you can also make, for example, in the dancer here, there is the dress of the dancer. So whatever you want in 3D effect you can make, not always, always flowers. So I start with this small spatula, and when I spread, like a knife, I start to take up a small quantity of paste, like this, in order to prepare my flower. For example, here, you see, this is my first petal. It's something like you make with painting, but this time you make with a spatula and with a paste. I make another petal here, another one again closed here, and now I make the external petals. So I will have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I spread, I make this turning movement, like a comma stroke, if you know, in decorative painting, but quite easier. I prefer to make in white and color afterwards. Sometimes you can mix it with acrylic inside. Now I have this sort of shell. I make a petal here and one here. So 2 more petals in the same way. You see what I have in my spatula, like a petal already here. And I spread it like this, fixing only the base of the petal. I go on, and I do this one too. Now I have to close this part, which is important to mix, as I told you, with this soft clay. Otherwise, the paste is too soft. It doesn't keep the shape. So you really have to mix it. And you see, when you spread it, this time you change the movement and you lift up like this. Look, that's important. You take up like this, and you have this thin sort of petal that you put here, and you can also move with your fingers. You see, this is lift up. I make another one. Not difficult technique, but you have to try to see how it's something between sculpture and painting. It's a mixture. I have another petal. If it's not perfect, it's not a problem, because it's a flower, it's nature, it's not everything is the same. You will never make a rose identical to another one. It's quite normal that. So I have the 2 lift up petals. I go on and I prepare 2 more here. There is not a rule on how many petals I need. It depends on the size of your rose, of your flower. Okay. I have this here. The thinner you can make it, and better it is, because it's more natural. I mix again, and I make another lift up petal. Okay. Too big, so I make it shorter, and I put it here. Okay. You see that the petal moves in its own way. I leave it as it is. Now I prepare a petal to close here in the way I had used before, like this, and a petal here. Okay. So now, what about a small rose bud like this? It's very easy, a rosebud, because it's only a petal and a closing petal. So one like this, and one which close it. Like this. Of course, now it's delicate because it's fresh, but once it's dry, it's very hard, as you can see. This travels all over, and it's always okay. I make just a few leaves. So the leaves I make in the way I made before the petal, but the leaves you should make starting from the, not the point, the opposite. So I make like this, okay, and I can make a moving leaf, taking up like the petal, and I make my leaf like this, like a sculpture, really. Some leaves I can make just flat to finish my branch. That's not difficult, but just try, because you will be amazed. At the moment it looks like, oh, what's that? But you should really try and see how actually it's not difficult to make. Okay. Everything you have left in your plastic, just keep it again in your box. Also the one like this, sometimes I mix together, no problem, because you keep it better like this, if it's very well closed. And remember to close also this with some tape. Now, what I can do is to finish it quite quickly, to spray some colors, or it will be quite quicker than. So I spray, this is black. And I will take a little bit of ancient pink color on the rose. So I go very close in the middle, and then I go further. Just drying a few seconds. Am I on time? Am I on time?
You have another 10 minutes.
I can finish. So I can finish my heart with now some acrylic color, a little bit of white, and an angular brush. I take some white on my brush with a little bit of water, and I try to spread the color to make it softer. But of course it's still wet, so don't insist with the brush, but make something very soft. It will dry completely in a couple of hours. Of course, the warmer weather you have, and quickest will be. So in Greece, no problems.
Is it better to let it dry and then paint it?
It will be easier. of course. Not better, but easier. It's the same, actually. So I take some black for the leaves. As I want something that does not change too much the color. Okay, I can add some few leaves. And some details we can add at the end. Just a little bit of correction here around the shape of the lady, like a shadow. Always with this angular brush. It will help to enhance a little bit more the image. And now with some acrylic, for example, silver color, and a brush like this, which must be dry, I can go on the surface. Also on this part, but very, very softly, because it's still fresh. It's the same technique that you can see on the bottles, for example. I had put some gold color there. Here is silver, because it's always everything in black and white color here, and a little bit of pink only. I use this vivace color because it's a sort of very creamy, and it works like a patina, especially with the metallic colors. It's very, very useful. It's water-based, and it's easy to use like a patina in a quick way. Last touch, I show you now. I take the Glossy Gel Paste, and I will put only on the hair with a spatula like this, to make a little bit of volume on the hair. This pasta will be completely clear, completely transparent when it dries. And I will put here as well, where I have this part. Okay. Last but not least, few glitters on the paste. And with a glitter pen, with silver glitters inside, I can just few decoration add in here around. So I like shiny things, as you can see. Okay, I think that's all I can make for the moment, but you can make other details when it is completely dry, evidently. So this paste will be completely transparent. Okay, So I think this project is quite end. You like it? This is interesting. I think it's important to learn the technique because once you have tried this technique, you can make every 3D effects you like. So I really invite you to try. If you want to try with us, we are there all day long.